Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Lexi. Thank you for clicking on this video, clicking on my channel and joining us, or joining me. But I am doing a cool video today. So this is probably something I get asked all the time, just about like from my clients, but also just people in general. And the times I have posted, like when I've traveled in the past, like all the stuff I will bring through as far as like what food I bring, all of that. I always get people that are super surprised to see that I can bring through I can bring as much food as I do through airport security, and that I can travel with as much food that I do through airport security. So I wanted to make this video, and I am on bikini prep for those of you that don't know. So I am prepping for a bodybuilding competition in the spring. So right now, you know, I am going to be leaving for Las Vegas, which I'm leaving for Las Vegas on Wednesday. It's now Monday when I'm recording this, to go to the Olympia, which is like the Olympics of bodybuilding. So I'm super excited. I've actually never been to Vegas either, so that's going to be exciting. But I leave on Wednesday and I'm staying until Sunday. So I really just want to make a video and kind of give you guys the lowdown on what I am doing, what I'm packing, you know, as far as food goes, because I am on contest prep, I can't just go on this trip and be like, oh, I'll eat whatever. Like I have to go in with the plan. You know, that is part of prep, and I realize that, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to show you guys what I am doing to prepare for this trip, what food I'm going to be packing, kind of my approach to traveling with food, like what you can take through airport security, what you can't, what's kind of iffy, what's not, all of that. And then I also just put up a question box on my Instagram, so I'm going to run through some questions that you guys specifically ask regarding just traveling with food and like best practices for staying on track when you travel. This will also probably be a very relevant and helpful video for those of you who travel a lot for work or just travel a lot in general, because, you know, I think there is a time and a place to travel, usually for vacation purposes, and not be as strict on your diet, right? But a lot of times if you travel a lot for work and every time you travel you're falling off track, it's gonna hinder your progress, right? So I hope this video was helpful for you guys watching. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, but enjoy the rest of the video content. Okay, so I'm back. I didn't really move far. Yeah, I'm in the same spot as I was the last clip, but I wanted to show you guys the first thing I do, and I do this all the time. This is always the first thing I do before I travel, when I'm kind of getting an idea and like planning what I'm gonna pack. So I am somebody who likes to write everything down because it just takes a little bit of stress off of my plate if it's not jumbling around in my brain. So the first thing I do when I travel is I always write down, and I have a notebook. I also, sometimes I'll do this in my in the notes section of my phone, but I always write down a list, and I split it up into protein, fat, carbs. And so you'll see that I'll kind of show you guys like this. I'll read through it too, but I have like protein at the top, fat, carbs, and then I have a section that's called store, and then miscellaneous. So basically I have a section that's called store because I do plan on, when I get to Vegas, that I'm gonna go to the grocery store and just grab a few things. I do want to pack a lot, so that way I don't have to get everything at the store, but there are some things that are just a lot easier to pick up at the store when I'm there rather than travel with. So I'll talk about that in a sec, but these are some of my go-tos, and typically anytime I travel, these are typically the foods that are on my list, because I do find that these are the foods that are easiest to travel with. So for protein, I have hard-boiled eggs, tuna, so I'll get the tuna pouches at the store. I'll show you guys later which ones I get and which ones are best. Chicken, so I am gonna prep some chicken, and protein powder. Protein powder, I always recommend, if you travel, take protein powder. That is such an easy source of protein to travel with. For fat, I have nut butter and whole eggs. For carbs, I have rice cakes, I have oats, and then I have fruit. Probably going to add some rice to that, maybe some quinoa, and take that as well. And then, you know, and miscellaneous, I just have like salt, and then I have my supplements, my greens, all of that. But the reason I do this and why I like to kind of break it down in a list is I find that when traveling, you know, it can be sometimes easy. I'll show you guys the list again, not that you can read it, but just so you can see how I organize it. I like to like separate it into protein, fats, and carbs, because I find that way when I travel, I can piece meals together really quickly and really easily, right? And I'm less likely to be deficient on one macro. I will say the hardest macro to hit when traveling for me personally is usually fat, I find. I don't know why, but I always like to travel with nut butter, and then whole eggs is another really good source of fat for me when I travel. Raw nuts are also a really easy one. And then like when I get there, I'm gonna go to the store and get some things that are a little harder to travel travel with. So on here I have like veggies, cottage cheese, carton egg whites. I'll get those things when I get to the store because obviously those are a little bit harder to travel with. So that's what I always do before I travel, kind of lay out my list of food. So now I can know exactly what I need to prep, what I need to bring. So stay tuned for the start of my packing for this travel excursion. So I would like to show you guys what I am prepping for my trip tomorrow. So I had on my list, and I always bring eggs of some sort. Usually I bring hard-boiled eggs, but I'm trying something new. So my little sister got me this like little contraption. It's like, it looks like a little waffle maker, but it's actually for eggs. So what you see here are these little like mini little cups. They're supposed to make like little egg bites, and I put some cooking spray in them, and then I'm going to pour some of these egg beaters. I just wanted to make it easy, so I got egg beaters at the store rather than whole eggs. That way I could just pour this right in and then make little like egg bites and put them in baggies and pack them for travel. So I've never tried this out. We shall see how it works, and I will report back. So I put them in just like a few seconds ago. Here's what it looks like. So I hope I'm doing this right. I truthfully did not read the directions, but I feel like it is pretty self-explanatory, but we'll find out if I did it right. So I'm gonna let these sit for probably a few minutes, but I feel like this is such a good way to transport eggs. So when I travel, I always bring eggs, and like I said, I either usually hard boil them or I'll make omelets and like store them in baggies, and it's a really easy source of protein to travel with. Doesn't take up much space, doesn't fall apart. So I feel like this is perfect. So if these actually turn out really good, this is gonna be like my new go-to when it comes to traveling with eggs. So verdict, you guys, these are so adorable. Well, I don't know if adorable is the right word for egg cups. Sorry, that was my computer in the background, but they took a little while. Like it was, you know, it probably took like 10 minutes, but I just opened it up and they come out really easily too. Like I just kind of, well, I can't really do this with one hand. It's really hot, but the other one came out really easily. Of course, it's an epic fail when I tried to do it on camera, probably because I have one hand, but I basically just got out the other one really easily, and it just looks like this. It's just a little egg cup, so I figure these are going to be perfect to throw in a baggie and travel with. So I am going to use this entire just little carton that I got. It has about 10 servings, so I'm going to use the whole thing. I'm going to put all of these in baggies because I feel like baggies are so much easier to put food in rather than Tupperware when traveling. That is a travel hack of mine, to put everything in baggies. That way you can just throw away the baggies and you don't accumulate a ton of just like dirty Tupperware when you're traveling. So I'm going to make the rest of this, and yeah, I'm really happy. My sister got this for me actually for my birthday, so shout out to my little sis. I love this little egg maker. It's so convenient, and it's gonna be perfect for traveling. Hello friends. So I wanted to show you guys some stuff I have laid out to bring. Please do not mind the mess behind me. I am like packing, and yeah, bit of a chaotic mess in my apartment right now, and I realize the lighting is not also the best, but it is dark outside. Yeah, so it is what it is, but I wanted to show you guys what I got because I got all of my goods laid out right in front of me here. So I wanted to show you guys some of my go-tos. So as far as the tuna, you guys saw I got that at the store. I did get some tuna packets because they're just easy protein options on the go. And I also want to preface by saying that, you know, when you're traveling, yes, this food prep does take a lot of work for me and it does take some time. However, you know, to me it's worth it, because also one of my biggest, like, I don't want to say pet peeves, but like one of the things I hate doing when I travel is buying food everywhere I go, because it adds up, especially at the airport. You know, you could buy a protein bar and it's like $5 and it's insane. So I find that packing food, I even do this when I'm not in prep. You know, I mentioned that I'm at prep, or that I'm on prep at the beginning of this video. So obviously, like, it's a non-negotiable for me to stay on track, and I do want to pack a lot of my food so I don't have to get a lot of it at the store when I go. But even when I'm not in prep, I do find myself packing some food because it's just nice to not have to always rely on going out and buying things at like restaurants and convenience shops. Like, that just adds up so quickly. So I got the tuna. Highly recommend, like, and honestly, tuna I think gets a bad rap, but this, like, sweet and spicy and tomato basil, so good. So I've got that. I typically don't eat it on the plane, I'm not gonna lie. And then I have some oats. So I actually just got some quick oats, and then I added some cinnamon to this mixture, so that way it's like they're not completely plain, but I put them in a baggie. So I've got some oats, and then I've also got some psyllium husk. You guys saw in the last video I recorded that I have been taking psyllium husk every morning just for some fiber, and it'll kind of help keep things regular. So I've got that, and then I've also got just some little individual protein packets that I have from PE Science. Fun fact, when you order from them, they always send like samples like this. So I'm bringing these because I just have these. And I'm also, what I just ordered from PE Science, I ordered this bag of protein. This is a 5-serving bag, and I love traveling with these because I don't like to travel with like a whole tub, but it's also just more convenient to buy a 5-serving bag rather than like taking the protein out of the tub and putting it in baggies. The 5-serving bag is perfect to travel with, and they have this size for pretty much every protein flavor. So I got that. A lot of times what I'll do is like with these little packets of protein when I travel, I actually won't make a protein shake. I'll add it to my coffee. So I'm kind of a coffee snob when I travel. And if I'm in a hotel room, I'll usually brew like decaf, and then I'll add some coffee for like creamer. So that's one thing I really like to do when I travel with like the protein powder. I also ordered a new bag of chocolate greens that I'm gonna be taking. I love taking my greens when I travel because I find that I don't get a lot of veggies in, or like veggies and fruit when I travel. So I like to stay on top of my greens. Love the chocolate greens from PE Science. You guys know that. And then, oh, okay, you guys are totally gonna laugh, but I was thinking to myself today at the store, I'm like, you know what? I need to probably pack some more, like another fat source. So I've got an avocado, and I'm gonna take this bad boy on the plane. What I'm gonna end up doing is I have a backpack that has a little meal compartment. I'm gonna take that as my carry-on. Now, it's not gonna fit all of my food, I don't think, so what I'm gonna likely do is have another bag and just take it as like my extra carry-on that I can store up above, and like put all my food in that. That way I don't have to put all my food in my checked bag, because like that's also a little risky, I find, if you put all of your food, even like especially like stuff like this in a checked bag, like if it were to get lost, like I don't want to be getting my checked bag days later with like rotten food in it, you know? So that's probably what I'm gonna do. So I'll show you guys how I pack everything up, and I'll show you guys what else I am bringing. I forgot to show you guys a few things. So here's everything laid out. I did get rice cakes, and then I also have my favorite tea that I am taking along for the ride because I love my glass of tea at night. And then I also have these little water flavor enhancers, so I'm gonna take that with me, just, you know, for a reminder to get in my water when I travel. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put everything in this bag right here, because for this particular trip I have to take some competition suits, and I'd prefer not to put those in my checked bag. So I'm gonna put my suits in here, and then also all of my food as well, like the rice cakes, because those will take up a good amount of room. So since I can have my backpack, which will go under my seat on the plane, I'm also allowed to bring another bag to put overhead since I am checking my suitcase. So that is what things are looking like. What's up, friends? So it is the next morning, and I wanted to show you what I have going on here, what the situation is. I can't quite remember the last clip I filmed, but I showed you guys I was making those egg bites. So that is what you see in here. I got egg beaters, so that's why it looks kind of yellow. They're not egg whites. So that's what you see in here. And then I also ended up just making a few like omelets, whatever you want to call these. And then I have some cooked chicken breast tenderloins in these baggies. So I think I mentioned it before, but one of my travel hacks is traveling with things in baggies. That way you don't have the dirty Tupperware to dispose of when you travel. Plus, baggies really save a lot of space. Now, the next thing I'm sure I'll get asked is, well, how do you travel with these foods that have to stay cold? So I'll show you guys what I do. What I typically do, because I don't leave for a couple more hours, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw this stuff in the freezer. That way it's not all the way frozen, but it's like extra cold. And then I'll throw them into my carry-on bag with ice packs before I leave for the airport. And yes, you can take ice packs through TSA as long as they're not unfrozen and like all liquidy. So you can definitely take ice packs through TSA, but I will put these in the freezer now since I leave in a few hours. That way it gets extra cold, and you know, I have no issue traveling and keeping them cold. So these are my main protein sources I am bringing, along with protein powder and tuna. However, when I get there, I'm likely going to go to the store and get some cartoned egg whites and cottage cheese. Those are just, I want to have some more egg whites on hand, and cottage cheese is something that I probably wouldn't try to travel with because it could be considered a liquid through TSA, along with yogurt. So that is a little pro tip, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Yogurt and cottage cheese may be considered a liquid through TSA, so I just would not risk it. Better off just getting that stuff when I get there. But yeah, I'm gonna throw this stuff in the freezer so that way it gets cold, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. Okay friends, so now I am leaving in about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna start putting my bags together and kind of show you guys finalizing, or how I'm finalizing everything. So you guys may laugh, but I'm gonna show you a little hack. So I mentioned that when I get there, I'm gonna go to the store and get a couple of things, right? One of those being like veggies and produce. However, I have a lot of frozen veggies in my freezer, and I figured, well, okay, I could just bring this bag of frozen veggies in my carry-on, and it serves as like a little ice pack too, right? And so I'm gonna bring this, I'm gonna bring it through TSA. I know it will get through. They may search me. Sometimes what happens is when I do bring like bags of food through, they just like stop and they search it all. However, it will go through. As long as I don't have a liquid, it will go through. And I want to put a disclaimer out there. If you get anything from this video, please note that peanut butter is a liquid. So unfortunately, I cannot bring a whole jar of peanut butter in my check bags. I could put it in my suitcase, the bag I check, but I cannot put it in my check bags. If I bring a whole jar of peanut butter, they will classify it as a liquid, and it will get confiscated, and that's a no-no, because like I don't want to waste a jar of peanut butter. I don't want to do that. So that's why I said earlier that like yogurt and cottage cheese are things I'm gonna get when I'm there, because like I just don't think that they can make it through TSA, and I don't want to stuff my suitcase with like with ice packs and stuff like that, like the yogurt and the cottage cheese, because just like I said, just in case something were to get lost, I don't want to be getting my suitcase 3 days later with a bunch of gross food in it. You know what I mean? So I am going to show you guys, I packed up my bag with food in it, and now I'm just making a quick meal that I can pack, that I can just have on the plane, and I'm going to put that in my bag before I leave. But I'm going to show you guys, I have my carry-on bag that I stuffed everything into, and then I have a little backpack that I'm going to put some coolers into, and then that's where I'll put like my chicken and my eggs. So yeah, that's basically how I do it. I definitely, this, you know, it does take time, but at the end of the day, I think that the biggest thing I have to just stress is like, if you really want something, if you have a goal, you're going to make it happen, you know? And like I said, if anything, I don't just do this because I'm on prep. I do this all the time. As far as traveling, I always bring food with me to some extent, maybe not this much, but I always bring stuff with me because it saves so much money in the grand scheme of things, you know, especially at the airport. Another little hack is I always bring a water bottle, like a blender bottle with me when I travel, and also to the airport, because I can just fill it up at a water station rather than spending $5 on, you know, stupid water from the airport. Sorry, not sorry, but anyways, that's how I do it. So I'll show you my backpack. I'll show you everything that is final, and that will wrap up this little video of how I travel on prep. So real quickly, I don't have anything in it yet, but this is my Wolfpack backpack. Shout out to Wolfpack. I'm sure you guys have heard of their backpacks. But essentially, this is the meal compartment one. So it has this little opening, and so you can't really see it. It's not super deep, but I will put some ice packs in here and throw my baggies. This actually does fit Tupperware, but it's so much easier to throw in all my baggies because I can just fit so much more in here. So I'm gonna put my my ice packs in here, and then also my chicken, my eggs, and all of the stuff that needs to be cooled. And then last but not least, this is the bag I showed you guys earlier that I'm just gonna carry on in addition to that backpack. And so I just have like my tuna, my avocado, I'm sure TSA will laugh at that one, my water enhancer, I have my little protein samples, my rice cakes, and then you can see I have my, my suits in here too, because I mentioned earlier that I was gonna put my competition suits in this bag, just, you know, so they're with me at all times. So I have all of that in here, and we are good to go. So the last thing I want to talk about really quickly while I wrap up this video is I did get a question from somebody about how do you find gyms when you travel. So quick little side note on that, when I travel, or the question was how do you find gyms, or what do you do if there's not a hotel gym? So my simple answer is just look up ahead of time when you're going somewhere. Like if you're not staying in a hotel, then look up ahead of time, like gyms near your location. And, you know, kind of goes back to what I just said, you know, when there is a will, there is a way. And if this is really important to you, and I'm not saying every time you travel that you have to do this. I am not. Please don't by any means think that that's what I'm saying. But like I said at the beginning of this video, for those of you who travel a lot for work or just travel a lot in general, you know, you have to eventually just kind of make this a part of your lifestyle, like your fitness and your health. And it can't always just go on the back burner every time you travel. So it's nice to have these little tips and tricks in place. So anytime I travel, if I'm not staying in a hotel, usually I don't even like working out at the hotel gyms, to be completely honest. I will just search, like, you know, gyms near this hotel, or gyms near wherever I'm going to be. And if I need to Uber there, I will. I make it happen. So that's what I'll eventually be, or that's what I'll essentially be doing when I get to Vegas. So I'm going to do a whole separate vlog when I get to Vegas for the Olympia festivities. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you found some good, valuable information in this as well. And like I said, disclaimer, everything I'm packing in my checked bags, or not my checked bags, my carry-ons, will make it through TSA. You can pack as much food as you want as long as it's not a liquid. They may search you going through TSA. They may like open up your bag and kind of look through, but they're not going to take anything from you. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel, and comment below which little travel hack you found most interesting. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.